All right, welcome back to the Barren Lands. It is episode 7. Where did our friends go? This is the title of tonight's session. I would like to remind the players to unmute your tracks app at the top left-hand side of your screen if you'd like to hear the music that I've queued up for tonight's session. I would like to remind everyone watching that we are down to 2 players for this session. Bailey, who plays Faylene, unfortunately is sick tonight. And Kelf, unfortunately, who plays Soul, has work responsibilities. And Omen, played by Mr. Vincent, unfortunately has dropped from the game. So tonight, it is the GM Philosopher, Waz, and William facing the barren bleakness of the Arctic wilderness. I would also like to remind everyone that if you want to be awesome like us, join the GM Philosophy Discord. Hang out with us, play games with us, do cool stuff. That's where this whole thing was started from. I would also like to remind you that if you join my Ko-Fi subscription during this game, before the end of it, these awesome players will receive magic items. And trust me, they're going to need them, especially if we keep having players not showing up and not having a full party every single session. When I say show up, I do not mean it derogatorily. Pneumonia is a big deal. That's what Bailey is dealing with. And Kelf has some very big work responsibilities going on right now. But Waz and William, i.e. Hector and Valenthi, still need to contend with the dangers of the Arctic wilderness, even in their absence. And so our story picks up here at the campsite, where they just chased some big stone monster into a ledge where it seemed to meld into the rock, but then it seemed that they were still able to communicate with it. It seemed that it only burrowed into the surface of the rock. And that's where we are left. Oh, well, there was another thing. They found out that their companion Luna is some kind of shapeshifter. This was another thing discovered at the end of last session, and so we are now dealing with the aftermath of that situation. What's going to happen? You're going to find out as we plod forward into episode 7. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to describe something really quickly as the session starts. And keep in mind, we are about nightfall here. This is about the time of day we're at. What happened was, not too long after the fight, i.e. at the very beginning of the session, Waz and let me find the right music here. I actually have to reload the screen because my music is acting up just a little bit. Sometimes this happens. Please hold. There we go. Valenthi and Waz, you would have looked on. And suddenly, ripples of light would have surrounded Soul and Faylene. Swirling, rainbow-like ripples with small arcs of blue and purple lightning. You would have perhaps heard faint cries of exclamation come from them. Not painful cries, but cries of like, what the heck is going on? And then suddenly you would have heard a snap. And in a puff of snow, both of their characters would have been taken up and vanished in an instant. Hector, your instruments that you're carrying, like, in fact, I think you had your meter out at the end of last session.
Yes, I did.
It would absolutely spike up to 3.0 during this event. And then what's left where Faylene and Soul were standing are small, what look like kind of hieroglyph patterns burned into the snow. And you recognize them. They're very similar to the hieroglyph pattern you found when you woke up for the first time in the Barren Lands. And now Soul and Faylene are not among you. Omen, the monk ranger who was with you at the beginning, still hasn't turned up. His scouting mission seems to have perhaps run aground, or perhaps he has met with foul ends, but that's unknown. Leaving only Valenthi, Hector, Luna, and Lotto now on the scene. And with that, we are going to pick it up. It is an open game. Please proceed.
Actor very much intrigued by these new measurements and the new and both Sol and Faylene disappearing in front of him. He's a bit, he's a bit confused, a bit, and he's trying to maintain his sanity by looking at things that he can control. So he's looking at the instruments. He's trying to work that out. The big spikes, and he turns to Luna. Sorry, forgot her name then. And says, "So, obviously you're not an elf. What do you actually call yourself?"
She's going to look down, and she's going to look just a little bit sheepish, and she's going to say, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Is there no one else like you where you come from?
I don't know where I come from. I appeared in a spot of snow outside of an orc village when I wandered to the orc village. I realized, I don't know, I had this like innate sense about me that I could emulate. And I didn't even realize what it was. I've been able to speak. I understand language. I understand this language. But as I approached the village, I hid behind a rock. When I looked at the village, I saw the orcs. And then I had this sudden urge to emulate them. And then my body changed. I felt pain. My bones popped. But then I looked at my hands and I looked at the rest of my body and I realized I looked like them, and I approached them, and somehow I knew their language. It seemed intuitive, like walking. That's all I remember. And then a lot of things happened there. I ended up leaving or getting kicked out. I wandered. And then there was a bright flash. It knocked me unconscious, but it felt familiar. It felt like being born. And then when I woke up, I was with you. Right where I had passed out. And there was another hieroglyph, just like the one that was there when I appeared first. And so I thought, well, maybe I should just play it safe and pretend like I appeared like the rest of you. And of course, that didn't last very long. She kind of like looks down. As she looks down, you see her body shift again, and her spikes, all her like scaly forms. You see her kind of stand upright more, and then you hear this like popping and almost tearing. And she seems to morph back into the form of Luna. She looks like an Asimar. The Luna you've been seeing this whole time. She forms back into that version of herself. And then she like looks at you.
Okay. Sounds like we'll need to do a bit more investigating. And you, Valenti, is it? I keep forgetting people's names.
Valanci's standing here completely trying to figure out, but staying calm. It's like while their conversation is going on, she's already trying to look at the snow, looking at the sky. They just disappeared.
It disappeared, but if you're looking at the sky, roll me a quick perception check.
Seven.
When you look up into the sky, you see the faint remnants of what looks like smoke above where they disappeared from, about 30 feet above, like little puffs of smoke wafting away.
And looking at Luna and Hector being calm in this conversation while they disappeared, she's going to look over at
Well, Lotto does not look calm.
yeah, Lotto. I keep forgetting.
He is like, he's like, his eyes are wide open, and he's like, his jaw is agape, and he's like looking down at the ground. You're actually not sure how he's going to react. He doesn't seem to have processed it all yet.
Yeah,
but Luna's having this conversation with Hector.
Valancy will then. She just keeps staring at the smoke, at a loss.
By now, the little smoke that she saw has wafted into nothingness. It was only a momentary. It was like a momentary glimpse into some kind of mechanism. And now it is lost. She only has it in her memory.
She looks back over at the rock situation over here where it was, and she's pretty much at a loss right now, and she'll walk over. She'll say, "What happened then? Do you understand this with your scientific knowledge?"
I can tell you that it looks like there was another convergence of some sort. My instruments have all spiked to indicate that sort of activity happened.
Hector, when you say that, roll me percentiles real quick.
Oh, what's that? 15.
Okay, no, continue. Proceed.
And yeah, I haven't seen it this way before, but it gives us hope. I don't think it's a bad thing. If the convergence works in both directions, we may be able to get home.
Valancy raises her eyes at this and says, "Home? And they probably went home then." And she starts thinking about it, looking at the ground. Is that, or perhaps somewhere else? And
well, at least off this barren rock, at least.
And she will nod. And she'll look over at the party now that it's down to it, and now that Soul is gone, losing her link, putting her in a situation that she's not liking too much currently. She will look back over at this area and shake her head. "I don't believe that creature was meaning to cause us harm."
Lotto is going to turn and say, "I will admit, it did not seem incredibly aggressive."
Seemed to target Luna. I wasn't very happy with Luna, was it? Why do you think that is, girl?
Luna's gonna shrug her shoulders. Listen, I just told you everything. I told you absolutely everything I was afraid to tell you. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do not know what that thing was talking about. I don't understand. I do not understand what that thing wanted. I don't think it was talking to me. I've never met it before. She's going to kind of back away a little bit, like a little bit afraid.
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying that it seemed to know you and target you. Maybe it's something to do with that magic you have.
Maybe. If it is, I swear I didn't know it. If it is, maybe she sent it. But I don't have any I really swear, I swear on everything. I swear on my life that I did not bring this thing here intentionally. If it was about me, I swear I didn't know it. And I'm really sorry. I'll do anything I can to make up for it.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. You don't need to be sorry. These things
Lotto-
happen.
Lotto's going to kind of
Magic
turn
is
to her.
weird.
Lotto's going to turn to her and he's going to say, Hector, I must say, she has been nothing but suspicious. He kind of scowls at her. I don't trust her.
No, I don't trust either. But I don't trust. Full stop. I think people are annoying.
Lotto is going to look over at you, Valenthi. He's going to say, Valenthi, what do you think? I feel like maybe it's time to be done. And he kind of like looks over at her. Maybe it's time we part ways. Too much lying. Lying is dishonorable.
Valentia will look at him and says, "You would leave her here alone, knowing the danger."
He's going to say, danger. We're all in danger. But unlike the rest of us, and he's going to point at Luna, we haven't been lying about where we come from. At least not that I can tell.
So sometimes people will lie if they don't know who to trust in order to protect themselves. Lying is always evil.
He's going
Lying
to...
sometimes is to protect yourself.
As he hears this, he's going to go stomping off. Like, he just looks very frustrated. Anyway, he seems to be like kind of shaking his head, frustrated with the situation. Anyway, continue.
She'll just stand here and says, "If anyone thinks they can make it by themselves, you're all free to leave. People are not being held here. But I understand that there is greater power in numbers. In survival, I myself would leave long ago if it wasn't for me knowing these abilities to travel and traverse these lands. I never chose to lead, but it seems that you have been following. But I'm still rather taking my chances with the orcs in the village. But if you wish to return and go to this fort in the south, I can take you there. But after that, I will search out and see if it is worthwhile to stay there. We don't know these people. They could be dangerous as well. And I'm not one to enter villages. I know what people are like. I rather...
Luna's going to jump up and she's going to say, No, I don't want to leave. I'll do anything. Please. She's going to kind of walk around Hector up to Valentine. She's like, listen, you're right. There is safety in numbers. I don't want to leave. I'll go anywhere. You want to go north? You want to go south? I will admit. And she kind of bites her lip. I'm probably not welcomed amongst the orcs unless I hide my identity. But that was a mistake. I won't make it again. I swear. I'll do anything. You could kind of see her eyes. She's like pleading. You hear Hector like, ugh, grunt as he hears her pleadings, like as he continues to just kind of stomp around. He seems to be relatively fed up with her, it seems, to both of you.
Or Lotto, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Lotto. What did I call him?
Hector.
No, he's not Hector. No, he's Lotto. Lotto seems to be relatively fed up with her from what you two can hear at this point. But anyway, that's what she says.
Hector looks up from his instruments, and because he's still looking at them, And he says to Valenti, honestly, I think we need to go south. I think we need to go to the fort because that indicates civilization. Civilization have smart people. We can work out some answers from there. If we go to the orc village, what are we going to do? Become orc food? I don't see that being an even choice. I think it's a straightforward south.
I agree south would be the best option for the group. For myself, the orc village, but I will lead you south. And she'll look over to Lotto. It is up to you if you wish to keep with the group. No one is holding you here. But be it a liar or not, survival is a stronger emotion and need. Luna will want to survive, same as you will want to survive. And together, we have better possibility. And she will sigh a bit, look at the place around. I don't think that creature meant us harm, but we'll need to find a place to camp.
Indeed. I think we shouldn't hang around here and tempt fate.
Lotto is going to step forward and he's going to say, all right, listen. I am Lotto Earthkin. I am an honorable warrior. I am committed to you, Valenti. I'm committed to Hector. He kind of points at Luna. She I do not trust. But if the two of you agree to let her come with us, I will not be the one to raise argument. Just know this. And he kind of looks at her. If a time comes when the group splits, I'm with Valenti and Hector. He says, if this is
How
agreeable,
about this, Lotto? If she does anything that we don't like, you can slam her. Introduce her to the earth, as you like to say.
you see his expression eat a bit, and then he just like grinds one knuckle into his palm, and he says, "It's a deal."
Excellent.
And then
Come and
he
help me
goes,
put this fire out.
he walks up and he starts to beat the fire out with his feet. He just like steps on.
Valenti,
shuffling snow on it.
Valenti will deadpan and kind of, she won't say anything, but in her mind, she just kind of, coming from her background and stuff, and then looking at Luna. Can she read Luna at all? Is she like...
Yeah, roll an insight check if you'd like to try to read Luna, like more, like in this moment, you mean, like what she's looking like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And whilst that's going on, Hector will try to grab some stones and sticks and make some sort of sign saying that we're going south.
Okay.
Just in case the other people come back.
So when you look at Luna, you see that they're putting out the fire, and she basically starts just kind of like gathering up the stuff she was carrying, which isn't very much, honestly, at this point. It seemed that Sol and Faylene, when they disappeared, all of the stuff they were carrying disappeared with them. So Luna just kind of picks up the stuff that they were carrying, and you notice that she seems to be avoiding Lotto's gaze. She seems to be looking, her body language. Valenti notices a hint of like really fear and shame in her body language. That's kind of what Valenti picks up.
Yeah, Valenti will just kind of keep to herself, but she kind of sees a little bit of what happened to her when she was young as villages turned on her. But as they're stomping, she'll look over at Luna and say, "Let's keep moving." And she'll just move.
Luna.
She's going to be looking for a another good campsite at this point.
Very good, very good. Okay, all right. I'm gonna grab these things. We're gonna switch. So you guys are gonna basically travel on, find a better campsite.
I'm hoping to find a campsite that's enough distance for the group to be safe, but also enough to be able to return rather quickly.
So how far are you gonna try to go? Would you say like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour?
Let's say 10 minutes.
10 minutes
would be good.
All right. Very good, very good.
So it would take her to. Actually, let's say about 5 minutes. Let's say 5 minutes, so it takes 5 to get back here, and then 5.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
So it'll take Hector 10 minutes to get there.
Hector's going to be behind a bit.
Yeah. She'll take a note of this because I'm knowing how fast she could go.
All right. Let me bring up a map here. Let me find the right map. If you are watching, if the players are watching the YouTube, you should not watch the YouTube. There might be spoilers. So maybe if it would be possible, but I understand if it's like too much.
Yeah, I've got my mini tabs open here.
So here's what we're gonna land at this spot here, and I think that we've used this before, but just if we have, just pretend like we did. Where's Valenti? There she is.
Hiding in the trees.
Yeah. All right. This is the spot you guys find about 5 minutes away.
All right.
A good spot to camp, you think?
Valenci will search around and make sure.
She can roll a survival check if she'd like to check it out. Really in depth.
Before you walk away, come here for a minute. And I'll give her guidance.
Oh, you should add guidance to it. You rolled a 23, but you should add a D4 to it.
So 26 in total?
A 26. With that kind of roll, the audience should know that if at any point during tonight's session anyone signs up for the Ko-Fi to become a community supporter, this group will receive magic items. Just so you know. They're going to need them. But
I do love magic items.
With a 26, you do determine not only is this a very, very safe seeming campsite, it's your 5-minute marker away from previous spot, but you can also determine quite accurately that it looks like no large game, no large monsters, nothing like that have been through here anytime recently.
Okay. She only needs 4 hours. So she'll look over to Lotto and Hector and Luna, and she'll look over to Lotto. Says, perhaps you can take the first watch.
He's gonna like nod his head and he punches his fist in his palm. He says, "Of course. How many hours? Are we going to break it up into 3-hour watches?"
He says, I assume that everyone needs at least a good 6 hours. I only require 4. I will be back. And says, I can take the last watch. If you can take 4 hours.
Lotto starts climbing up this little ravine, this little ridge here, which is quite steep, but you notice that he climbs up pretty easily. He's quite strong, and he kind of sets up there, and he says, I will take the first watch. Do not worry.
Good. I'll take over when it's time. Give you a break so you get a good rest.
Very
And then
good.
Valenti can take the last watch.
Good.
Van
All
Lancey,
people can trust. And then he glares daggers at Luna.
Valancy nods and says, "I will be back." And she'll look over at Lotto and says, "You're honorable. That's what you say, so should anything happen while I'm gone, it shouldn't be long. I still require Luna to be safe in my absence, so long as she is not doing anything dangerous toward the party." She looks over at Lotto mainly.
He's going to kind of bow to her and he's going to say, "Of course. I shall not go against these wishes. I will keep her
Strength
safe."
and unity. And she just walks back and just completely. She'll start dashing
Okay.
as quickly as she can back to the area.
You guys see her dash through the snow, leaving Hector and Luna near the fire and Lotto up on the ridge, kind of hidden in the darkness.
When did we last eat? I'm sorry. I don't remember.
I am not actually sure if you guys have eaten today. I know you ate yesterday, but I do not know that you've eaten today, actually.
Hector will turn to Luna and say, "You want to do anything?
Yeah, I'll do anything.
How about you cook us a meal?"
Yeah, of course. She's going to step up to the fire. She's going to say, "Does anyone have the cooking tools?"
I think Lotto had them.
Lotto will toss them down and she'll grab them. And then she starts cooking. She's like, "What should I cook?"
Well, we've got deer.
"I'll cook the deer."
Well, we've got deer.
She's going to cook 4 portions of deer. She starts cooking. You hear the meat start to sizzle. She seems to be relatively adept at cooking. Now, Hector, you notice. Now, she basically told you. She has no recollection of anything before she appeared, before going to the orcs and blah, blah, blah. She didn't really tell you what time frame that was, but she sure seems to know a lot about cooking. Anyway, just an observation.
Yep. No. Hector is taking mental notes of her actions and trying to piece it together.
Yeah. Now, Valenti, how far north are you going?
I'm going back to the same area we just left, to where that rock.
Back to where the rock dude is? All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna load that scene here real quick. We're gonna go back to that.
In fact, I didn't give the berries to anybody. I don't think.
I don't think you did this day.
Well,
Not today.
I'm gonna go ahead and eat all 10 berries.
Okay.
I need some help.
Very good. Very good. All right. For this scene, I'm going to move these players off here. Okay, you're back here. Let's go with your character for a moment. A little Valenti solo adventure here for a second.
Solo adventure for Valancy, the way she likes it. All right. So, in her many 70 years of living alone, still a child, according to Elven lore, or young adult at least. She's going to go over here, and she's going to sit down and try to go into a trance. And while she's going into a trance, if there's any dark spots, she's going to try to touch it as she goes into a trance. She's basically trying anything she can in order to understand this creature. And she will pray to Morthil, her god, and say, "Morthil, my anchor to this group is gone, and this land is completely foreign to me. I don't know if I am talking to you or if you hear me, and I need some sort of guidance, at least from you, I don't know what that bear was. I don't know if that was even you. But right now, I could use a little bit of help. I'm not certain how to deal and do things around people. You know me as a loner. Is there any way that you can help me communicate with this creature? I don't think it may harm to us.
Roll a religion check.
Religion. Let's see, what is my... He talks to more still, but not very religious. All right, let's see how this goes. Ooh, 13.
13. You say she's not very religious?
According to her stats. No, she believes in more still, though. Yeah, no, I was just going by the stats.
Gotcha. So would you say that it is probably safe to say that she does believe in a god, but like she's not incredibly devout? Would you say that that's true?
I would say because of the land and the parents, she had strong faith in Morthville, but because she's lived alone for the past few decades, she's kind of learned to be one with nature. And the last thing she knew from her childhood was the idea of Morthville. So she's kind of devout in that sense to him because that's the only thing that lingered. And she could talk to in the nights by herself, aside from her animals that she had back home.
So as she's praying to Morthel, she gets this strange sense. She hears this voice. Child, what are you seeking? And she would sense something behind her.
She will open her eyes and try to look back.
She looks back, and in these bushes here, kind of like amidst the bushes, at first she sees nothing. She's like, well, there's bushes and there's like snow. But then slowly her eyes kind of adjust and she sees that there's some kind of optical illusion going on. And she sees the visage of a great bear standing amongst the snow-covered branches. And she sees it looking at her and kind of moving with the sway of the branches.
She's confused at first and haven't ever really seen anything, I guess, related to religion. Always had a feeling, but never seen. She says,
Seeing is a loose term here because she's seeing like what seems to be like a vision, but it seems to be like a vision that is not completely concrete, just for your reference.
She'll stare at it and says, "Hey, are you Morthville?"
No. Small child. I am Bjornir, the great bear. And then the figure will kind of emerge from the branches and becomes much more pronounced and like walks over to her. Is she going to react in any way, or is she going to let it do this?
She's pretty calm around animals, even though this is a completely different situation. Still kind of familiarity with it. She will remain calm. She trusts animals more than people. But yeah, she
stays sitting there.
Yeah, she's just letting them approach.
He's gonna sit beside her, and his form is so large. And now that he's there, Valenthi beholds him as a great kind of glowing outline of a visage of a bear, like a polar bear, just sitting beside her. And he would say, "Child, you are not of this place. From whence have you come?"
She says, "I come from Solar, from Elandria. My farm is there with my animals. There I had my farm nestled in the Elandrian forest."
He's gonna hold up a paw, and he's gonna kind of poke the air, and you're gonna see some like shimmers come out, and then you're gonna see what looks like a constellation. And he's gonna say, "I know not of your world, small cub. I am sorry."
She looks down and says, "I am alien here. I don't know what this world is called. I know that it's cold, at least in the location I am now, but how large is this world?"
"You are in a world called Regenesis. You are in the continent of Norskal. This continent is under my domain."
"So you're a god here?"
"Yes. I am the god of strength and protection."
And she looks back at the rock and says, "That creature there, he didn't mean harm to us, did he?"
He kind of looks over and he says, "No, you are correct. But there was one who did."
And she thinks about it. "Another of the same?"
"There are many gods in Norskal. Not all of them are benevolent."
"Sounds similar to my world, but I keep to myself. I lost my home I was young, when I was 15. She'll look over and she says, "But now I was taking care of my new family, my animals. I found comfort within them."
"The animals." He kind of looks at you. You see his eyes glowing blue. And then suddenly a violent wind kind of begins to blow. And then he looks up, kind of startled, and he says, "I must go. One blessing I can bestow to you now. What can I do?" You see his form begin to dissipate.
She says, "I wish to understand better the languages of the ones that live here."
You see him reach out with a claw, little spectral claw, and he tries to touch Valenthi on the forehead. Will she let him do that?
Yeah.
He's going to touch her, and I'm going to make a roll here real quick. 4. He bestows Valenthi with 4 incidences of tongues that she can cast at will. And then he begins to dissipate, and he says, "I wish you well, young cub. Care for the animals, and you will have my boon." And
She
then,
nods.
almost before, she can respond, the wind just seems to carry him away. It doesn't look like he's being carried away against his will. It looks like he's leaving for some reason. If she wants to try to call after him or something, she has about enough time for like one sentence.
she understands that he's moving, so she's not going to call out to him, but she'll nod. And with that, she will try to talk to the creature in the rock.
All right, very good. Now, real quick, before we go on to that, I'm going to switch scenes. I'm going to go back to Hector real quick.
Mhm.
All right. Now, Valenti's gone. Hector, what are you doing?
He is subtly but consistently interrogating Luna. He's asking her about how long she's been here, how long she was with the orcs, how did she actually stumble across us? All those sort of questions.
So
He would bring up religion as well. Like he would ask her about her religion and how it works for her.
So when he asks her about the how long she's been here, she's going to say, so if you count dawns and sunsets, I was with the orcs for about 10 days before they kicked me out. Before that, I wandered for 3 days. Then I wandered for a good, I actually lost count. I think it was 13 or 14 days before I passed out and then woke up to all of you being there. I have no recollection of anything before that. None. Not at all.
So almost the full cycle of the moons.
She's like, I don't know what that means. Moons?
Well, yeah,
I know that the moons are in the sky, but a cycle? I know what a cycle is, but I didn't know moons have cycles.
Oh, you know how they change shape.
Change shape?
You don't always see all of the moon.
You don't?
No. It moves, it changes. It helps the plants grow. I mean, these
plants?
These are... Oh, come on. You know plants.
You mean like these trees?
Yes, like trees, like crops, like weeds.
Crops?
Yeah, food. Grains.
You can get food from the trees?
Sometimes. There's apple trees and peach trees and plum trees and lots of different trees give you food. And then plants themselves, you can eat plants as well.
Huh.
Surely with your cooking skills, you should know this already.
Well, I know that... I mean, I know how to cook things, but when you talk about different plants and crops, I don't actually know what you're talking about, actually.
Interesting. I don't... You know, like... Oh, you're just too confusing. Lotto, you know about plants, don't you?
Yeah, I know about plants. Corn. Corn is the best crop. Wheat is also good. I like a good bread with my soup.
So, Luna, you've never had bread? Never had cornmeal?
She kind of looks confused. No, I've never had those things.
What do you add to make that?
You hear a lot of humph up on the ridge, indicating he seems to think she's lying.
So what do you put with your meat and your meals then?
Well, I mean, I've only eaten the meat. I don't. I don't know what you're talking about, actually. She just keeps cooking the meat. Now, she says, I know that if I had some spices, I could put them with this, but I don't know what the spices are.
Yeah.
I think to
all right.
myself, if I could sprinkle a bit of stuff on this, it might taste better. But what would I sprinkle? I don't really know.
I don't know. I'm not a cook myself. Lotto, what would you sprinkle on this deer meat to make it taste better?
He would. You hear him, like, his voice just kind of like bark from the trees. A bit of salt, a bit of pepper, a little bit of butter, maybe a little sage. If we wanted it spicy, perhaps chop some spicy peppers and mix it about with the butter. Perhaps some oil pressed from fine olives. Perhaps a bit of pig's fat. He sounds like there's an
wonderful
edge to
flavors.
He sounds like there's an edge to his voice. And then I would present it with a squeeze of lemon from the Southlands. Near the coast, the lemons are ripe and large down there. Of course, we are not in Greyhawk anymore, so I do not know where lemons grow here, if there are lemons or not. He sounds grumpy. He sounds really grumpy.
Not to worry, friend. I'm sure we'll find some fruits soon. It's a bit hard with all this snow around, though.
He just kind of, you hear him kind of grunt.
But Luna, so you really only eat meat? Is that what you're saying to me?
I've only eaten meat.
Have you eaten it raw?
Oh, yes, usually. I've eaten fish. I ate that raw, too.
Okay. And you can see Hector sort of fiddling around looking for something to write with. But so he'll grab a bit of charcoal and make a little note in one of the notebooks that Luna is a carnivore. But yeah, so tell me about your religion. Tell me about your gods. These are subjects that interest me.
She kind of sighs and sits down by the fire. She says, when I first arrived here, I heard a voice. It identified itself as, she kind of looks around, you know. And then she started showing me these visions, and she gave me this idea that I could use magic. And I've used it a few times, mostly amongst the orcs, which is what got me kind of kicked out. But I've used it with you too. I've only tried to help.
Oh, I'm not questioning your magic. Magic is good. I like magic. Magic works. That was a bit of a relief, actually, that magic worked here. Considering that all that hoo-ha with the with Soul and his pleas to his gods and attracting
I don't think my
other
goddess.
things.
I don't think my goddess liked that very much. But I guess she's not my goddess now. I'm trying to stop from using her magic.
Don't stop, but limit. I think that might be what will work best.
She kind of like looks around. So, just limit, not completely stop.
Yeah, I think if we are to survive, we will need to use your magic from time to time.
Oh,
But I think one of us should ask you to provide that magic support. Don't do it by yourself.
okay. I can do that. Yeah, for sure. Whatever you say. She continues to cook, and then she gets done cooking, and she she dishes up the food. She dishes up Hector some strips of venison, and then she goes to take some strips to Lotto. And then she like kind of goes over here, and he reaches down and grabs it. And, they kind of meet in the middle, and he takes it back up there with him. And then she kind of comes back over here to the fire.
All right, I'm going to have a little snooze. This is good food. This will keep me going. Lotto,
Yes.
come down in a couple of hours, and I'll start take over the watch.
You kind of hear him grunt from the trees. Grunt affirmatively. Lotto's in a very no-nonsense mood tonight, it seems.
Now, Luna, I think for now you should go to sleep with me until Lotto wakes us, and then you and I can keep talking again after that.
Okay. She's going to kind of come over here and lay down beside Hector. She seems to take it literally, like she snuggles up.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, Hector meant it that way.
Yeah.
It's,
She like snuggles up to him and just like starts to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And Hector notices, roll an insight check.
Inside. Where's that button? There you are. Oh. No, he's asleep.
Is that a fumble?
Yep.
Yeah, no, he just goes to sleep, noticing Luna's right there. She seems to be going to sleep too. Very easy. And then before you know it, he's knocked out cold, just snoring away. All right. And with that, we're going to go back to Valenthi. Valenthi, is this the right thing? Yeah, this is the right place. What are you doing at this point?
We will cast tongues and try to speak to the creature.
So you cast tongues, and you see the discoloration of the rock where the creature seems to be hiding or whatever, but it doesn't stir at the moment. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say, I know you're there, and I am asking for your forgiveness. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have attacked you. The people I was with shouldn't have attacked you. Would you please speak with me?
Oh, roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Let's see.
Actually, you should roll it with advantage, though, because her words were very pertinent.
Right. Let's see what happens here.
Oh,
not bad. I guess 20.
There's a stirring in the rock, and you see two big rock eyes kind of open and look out at you. And then you hear a low voice that kind of sounds like grinding rock, but suddenly the words make sense to Valenthi, and it says, "I was not trying to attack you. I was defending my territory."
Jesus, I'm sorry. I did not mean to cause you harm or attack you. We don't understand. We are new here. We are not from this land. We are lost, seeking aid wherever we can. We did not understand your intentions, and that's my fault.
Are you not with her?
We're not with anyone. We're lost here. We're from different worlds.
are snatched up from our homes and thrown into this ice-cold, barren land. We have no friends. We don't know who our enemies are and who our friends are.
There is a black tide running east. It comes from the far west, up from Velara, from the faraway Southlands. This wave is driven by a fae, blighting the land. Are you with her?
No, I am not.
There is a war. I pray you do not fight with her. All will be lost if she wins.
What does she seek?
She seeks dominion over this land, but she serves a dark master. Someone she fears, someone she worships. Evil.
Says, I do not follow evil. I despise evil. That's why it's hard for me to trust. But I can't tell who is evil or not here sometimes. It's hard.
You are humanoid.
I am an elf.
Strange in this place. The closest thing to you are the orcs in the north. They protect this land, but they are being driven out by this evil fae.
So the orcs are not evil.
No, they protect nature, they protect Norskal. They've been here since time immortal.
I met one. And she said that her name was Kerrigan. But her brother would kill on sight.
You are elven kind. Elven kind are feared here.
Elves are evil here.
And then you kind of see the eyes pop out of the rock, and you kind of see the face lean out of the rock towards you. And they say, no. What follows elves is smoke and fire and metal and industry.
She looks very confused at this.
The destruction of all natural and the erection of false land.
That sounds like humans, not elves.
Humans live under the thumbs of elves. No one can rival the elves.
That's completely different from my world. We live, well, some of us live in nature and in tune with the land. Northiel, our god.
There is one with you, golden scaled, lizard-like. A dragon kind. This is the most concerning of all. This is why I believed you served her. The dragonborn here make the knees quake in fear. A precursor to the great fire. The fire that swept Velara.
Velara. What was Velara?
It was once a natural world, but it has been consumed by the red fire.
The red fire. This is much to take in. Where did the red fire come from?
It came from the south, from the rocks beyond the sea.
And why are Dragonborn involved with this?
They believe they are the chosen race, above all others. Even the elves fear and hate them.
If I were to take him to the fort to the south from here, would that be trouble for him then?
There is a fort to the south beyond the trees, near the coast. But your dragonborn friend will be met with contempt and fear and paranoia.
Sounds like the mini villages. Always something with people.
They will welcome you. It is a fortress of elven kind.
I see. This is getting more difficult. I'm not used to leading people. I was hoping to leave him at the fort. Do you have an idea of how we came here? Why we were transported here from our homes?
Oh, roll a persuasion check when you ask him that.
Would that be a normal or advantage?
I think it would be with advantage, actually, at this point, because.
So that's nat 20.
Oh, nice. Okay. He would say,
There is something going on. Something opening the sky. Perhaps you came in one of these bolts of light. This is strange. Even the elves do not know. And she, the one from the west, fears it, afraid that it will disrupt her conquest of the east.
Well, as he starts thinking about it,
I've seen so many factions, so many people. Who is good here? Who are the ones that are... Does this land, this world have any good-hearted people here?
Who are good? The rabbits, the birds, the trees. The orc live in harmony here. Occasionally, a human may pass through, a gnome. I have seen one dwarf in my life. All good. But I see the red fire to the south. I see the elves trying to beat it here, to take the metal from the earth. I see this land's days numbered. This is not good.
I believe that animals, their nature, it is good. Or at least they don't know good or evil. They just simply are. That's why I live among them. I loved my home. My animals, they don't even know that I left.
Oh, I'm sorry for them.
and she's like,
I have one that I just took in. A doe, Lunith. She always walks near me. And then when I leave, she waits by me by the gate. She doesn't even know. She listens to my footsteps when I return.
You suddenly see him emerge from the rock, a loud grinding sound. It just like almost pierces her ears. And then he kind of emerges, standing, huge size. And then he sits down. The whole earth shakes. And when he does, he says,
The deer are among my favorites. They are such wholesome, pure creatures.
Valancy will nod, and you kind of see like her eyes, or I guess he would see, kind of tearing up, and she says,
Yes, she always listens for my footsteps. But this time she'll wonder why I never returned. And the rest of the animals. I only have one monk friend who rarely visits. What if the foxes come back? I don't know. I should have not left them, but I don't know how I would have been able to prevent it.
There's only one who can help. The Great Bear.
her mind will roll back to him.
He is the only one who can help. But I'm afraid the war becomes much. And other gods, they seem not to care. On the mountain is the goddess of lights. On the sea, well, you find the god of the sea. And then there is the soul god, and there is the mistress of dark magic. The bear is the only one who can help us now.
And then he'll like stand up and he'll say,
I met
Elf,
him, yes.
I am glad to hear you are not with the others who wish to take the metal from the earth and replace tree with fire.
and then he would like turn and start to
I come
walk away.
What's this? I come from a place where the elves are not like this. Well, maybe. Not all. But thank you, friend, for this information.
He
And
would,
she will.
he would say,
She will
oh, go ahead.
oh no, she's going to stand and start also walking back to the group.
He would say,
Seek the great bear. If you go south, know that they are not like you.
and then he'll turn and start.
She just whispers under her breath.
Well, perhaps they are. At least like my elves.
And then she will start running as fast as she can back to the camp.
Now, with that being said, we're going to switch scenes. Go back to the campsite. Hector is sleeping. We're going to say you get back. About the time you get back, Lotto was just waking up Hector. He would give you a gentle shake.
Oh, I really don't like sleeping out here on this hard ground. Too many
No.
rocks.
Valenthi, as you run up, you see Hector suddenly stand up and get in like a stance. And then when he sees you enter the range of the fire, he would relax.
Oh,
You mean
you
Lotto? She approaches and she's like,
I'm back.
Did you have fun?
and she looks over at Hector and says,
Not quite.
Hector, you would notice that Luna is entangled with you, arm and leg, almost to the point where you have to unwrap yourself from her. And Valenthi, you would notice this as well.
Valancy just raises a brow. And
I have to stay warm somehow. Come on, get off, girl. It's time to work.
As you shuck her off, she just kind of rolls over, but she does not wake up. She seems to be a very sound.
Valancy will go about over here, and then she will sit down cross-legged and go into her trance for the next 4 hours.
So,
What is Hector gonna do?
is that one? Hector's just gonna sort of move around. He knows he's got a couple of hours to kill, so he's just gonna walk around that area. He can't climb up anywhere, obviously. He's only got the one leg, so he's not going to be able to get up high to provide overview.
Gotcha.
So he's just going to walk around that sort of bush area that they're camped in.
Is he just gonna kind of do the rounds, kind of walk around it?
Yep.
Okay. So as he's walking around it, roll a quick religion check.
Religion. That I can do. Okay. That one should work. 26 in total.
26.
Yeah. I got a +9 for religion.
So if we're going to say halfway through Hector's watch, when he's in this area, he would see something over here that looks like a form, half corporeal, wearing a long dark robe and a hood that's kind of blowing in the snow, and it's just standing there looking toward Hector. It doesn't say anything, doesn't make a motion. Hector just happens to be walking and glances over and sees it. I'm going to put a marker where it is here. Give me And my question is, does Hector want to do anything?
Does Hector receive any sort of feeling that it is death, or is it something else? As
Hector actually,
his deity.
Yeah, no, surprisingly, Hector feels nothing. He just sees it.
Okay. So he is curious. Everything in this place is really weird to him. So he's going to come over a little bit and try and see if he can see any reaction as he moves a little closer.
When he gets, halfway there, the figure holds up a hand and then seems to beckon for him to come closer, but doesn't say anything. And still, Hector gets the sense that this is not the death that he has been worshiping. He gets the sense that this is something else. And the hand looks to be skeletal.
So as he's sort of walking up, and he'll stop, I don't know, 15 feet away?
Okay.
Yeah. And he will just sort of say, and waves his hand in front of his face and says, "Are you here for harm or for good?" And he casts detect evil and good.
When he detects evil and good, the aroma, the ripe aroma of noxious evil floods his nostrils. There is most definitely a malevolent presence standing before him.
Okay.
And at this point, he would see only the thin visual of a smile with these rows of teeth grin beneath the cloak. And then a voice would say back, "Harm? What on earth do you mean?"
It's
You
just
mean
my way of.
death, curses, or life?
They're all the same.
And then it would be
I
like,
meant.
it would say, I see. An intellectual, my favorite. Not many make it up this way.
I'm trying to see what I can do to. If I can work out what this thing is. So I won't go any closer, but I'll engage in conversation and go. So, why are you here then?
I'm curious. I'm curious about you. I'm curious about those folks with you. You have a particularly punctuated interest in the darkness beyond the veil, the mortal coil. This fascinates me. This makes me wonder why.
Well, I come from a place of darkness. I come from the shadow plane. It is part of everything. Like the river Styx is right at my doorstep. How could I not be interested and intrigued and investigating? And death is the great balance between life and death. So, yes, I think you should maybe tell me a little more.
I'm wondering. I find myself wondering. You kind of see it sad. I find myself wondering if you're with her or against her. And I'm wondering what part you play in all of this.
Oh, come on, you stupid thing. Sorry, my air conditioning's playing up.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't know what's going on. I think that's turned it off. All right.
It's just going to say,
Yeah.
I'm wondering what part you play in all this. Are you with her? Are you against her? And then it just kind
Her.
of looks.
Who's her?
Her? Who else? Vyra. The Blight of the West. The Fae we all love to hate. I haven't decided if I love her or hate her yet, to be really honest. Her master, now that's a whole different story, but that's a bigger story. And I'm not sure that it deserves a place here. I'm just wondering what your relationship is to her. I'm wondering if she called you here or if she's already enlisted your service. She's a sneaky rat. I'm wondering if she has made her way into your brain.
I do not know. I believe that something else is at work here.
Like what?
Well, I don't think it was your Fae that brought all this party together.
Fascinating.
Like the convergence, the lights in the skies.
Roll a persuasion check. I'm sorry, not persuasion check. Roll percentiles real quick.
Percentiles. 43.
So when you say this, suddenly you feel this strange vibration. And then you feel a rippling of like something around you, like Hector does. And suddenly this figure takes a step back and kind of looks surprised. Valenti, you should roll a perception check. to see if you you're asleep, just to see if this you should roll with disadvantage, and a 14 or better would wake you up.
I will mention that trances, usually elves, are still aware of their surroundings.
Oh, that's right. So you should not roll with disadvantage. You should just roll, and a 14 or better, and you would become aware of this.
That's a 19.
So, Valenthi, you're kind of meditating, and you suddenly kind of feel a little bit of a vibration in the ground, and then you kind of hear some strange magical, whooshing coming from the other side of the trees.
Delancey will sneak over to, oh my God, it's Lotto. Gotta remember coffee. To Lotto and stir him gently.
So he at first she shakes him, and nothing happens. He's just snoring. He doesn't respond.
And she'll look again.
Lotto.
If she shakes him again, he'll wake up and he'll open his eyes, and then suddenly he goes on high alert. He's like, "What's wrong?"
He's like, shh. Quiet.
Looks around.
There's
She starts
something happening.
He starts
Wake up Luna quietly.
And then she'll start moving, stealthing around.
roll a stealth check. Now, meanwhile, while this is happening, go ahead, Hector. And then this figure says, "I see. You came through it, didn't you?"
Yeah. Yes.
What
so
is
all of this is, I don't know. I'm still working that out.
it? So you don't know. Or you're lying to me.
No, I'm still working it out.
Roll
I'm
a
neither lying or telling the truth. I am still working it out.
roll either a persuasion or deception check based on what Hector thinks he's doing. If he's trying to persuade or if he's trying to deceive.
No, he does not deceive. Where are we? Persuasion. Oh,
Whoever this figure is, they definitely don't seem super likable. They seem to be kind of being antagonistic. What did you roll?
just about to do it.
Oh, okay. Valenti, you're sneaking around.
Dirty 20.
Oh, dirty 20. Okay. Figure's going to take a step closer and say, "You really believe it, don't you? You don't know what brought you here. The holes in the sky, the constellations, the break in space-time." You would laugh a little bit. Now, Valenti, you hear this. This echoes throughout the whole place. And at this point, you come around and you see Hector talking to this figure. You see the figure there. You see Hector.
I'll just keep my bow at the ready.
Okay. Go ahead, Hector. It's your turn.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how we got here. I don't know who set it up. I'm trying to work that out. You seem to know who set it up. Is that correct? You know more about it than I do, so maybe you could tell me some.
I know more about it than you do. But there'd have to be something in it for me. And in order for me to ascertain whether or not we are really friends, I would need to know where you stand with her. Because she is a big mover and shaker right now. Vyra. What a troublesome fae, and yet what a delightfully despicable humanoid. I would need to know whether you're friends with her or not, what your mindset is on her values. There's a lot going on around here, and she's kind of put herself right in the middle of it. It kind of laughs. So, yeah, I'm going to need to know your perspective on her before I'm going to give you any more information.
Are you talking about our traveling companion? Is Vira in our group?
Oh, no. But she's been watching you. She's been watching you. She sent one of her minions to check on you. It never made it home, though.
Was that the Yetin?
Oh, no. It was the scorpion. She commands all of them.
Well, other than the scorpion, I have not had anything to do with her. She may be watching us, but I have not been watching her. I do not know where she is. I'm trying to work out the science of it all.
Science. You sound like an elf. These elves, thinking they can explain everything with science. What a bunch of lames.
Well, it's mainly because, we found these instruments. We found this dead wizard. And Hector starts looking around for backup to make sure that the others are... Because he's not talking quietly. He's quite loud.
Roll a quick perception check for Hector. And roll with advantage, because you kind of know what you're looking for, to see if you can spot your backup.
Advantage. What have I got for perception? It's not bad. Oh, nice. 23.
Oh, so no. Hector sees... What was your last stealth check, Valenthi? Wasn't it like a 20?
No, it was an 18.
Oh, so you see Valenthi hiding in the bushes, kind of behind you, and you see Lotto and Luna creeping along the bushes, kind of staying in the trees over here. You see all of your backup coming, basically.
Yeah. So, looking back towards it, Hector says, in the Shadow Realm, there are a lot of Fae. And they're Shadow Fae. They are horrible, horrible things. I avoid them. It is rumored they will cause the ebb and tides to occur. So I avoid them.
You see this figure kind of look at you, and it says, "Incredible. I don't know a damn thing about anything you just said, which leads me to believe that either you made it all up, or you're from somewhere completely different."
Well, you know what they say. When the impossible is the only explanation, then it must be true.
Now, at this point, Valenthi, do you want to do anything, or are you just holding right now?
I'm just holding right now, waiting to see if this creature does anything, if Hector is handling pretty well.
So at this point, the creature says, all right. So here's the real question. I came here curious, wondering if we could have some kind of relationship. It's a good word, relationship. I have a great deal of control here over the veils that separate the material from the non-material. I could be of great assistance to you. I could help you do a lot of things. I could help you do a lot of things. But here's the thing. I would just need to know whether you plan to draw blood on the Fae that pursues you or not. That's really my big question. I guess I'm asking if you're for her or against her. I guess we're coming down to a black and white, which is my favorite colors.
But this is life. This is not black and white.
I don't deal with life.
I cannot say whether I'll draw blood. I don't know if I'll even encounter them. I personally would avoid them.
What if I had it under good advisement that there's 100% chance you'll encounter her. Hypothetically.
Oh. That is a good question. Hypothetically,
You gonna listen to her
think-
talk, or you gonna shoot things at her? You gonna drain her nasty black little blood out of her nasty fey little body?
I could.
Oh, I
I could
believe
do
it.
other things as well. I
think
would
you're
probably
many
talk
things.
first,
Oh,
but I am well aware of the tricks of the Fae. So
okay.
it is always good to listen first.
I believe you come from a different place, so I don't think you know much about the. And then it would raise a hand, almost like to do air quotes. It would say, "Flame from the south." You know anything about that?
Flame from... Well, I have not seen any flames.
Uh,
There's a small fire behind us.
This is good. Okay, all right. Here's what I'm going to do. And then it would kind of walk forward. You see, as it walks forward, it doesn't seem to leave footprints in the snow. It seems to walk on top of the snow. And would walk up to where it's 5 feet away from you. And then it would set down this little, basically it looks like a little pot with a little lid on top. And on the lid, it's like a little like cast iron pot. And when I say cast iron pot, I mean it's like 6 inches in diameter, kind of round with a little lid. And on the lid, there's like a skull. And it would set it down and it would say, if some drops of the Fae's blood go into this little pot here, I'll reappear again. And we'll talk. I'll know when she approaches you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say I know everything, but I have a feeling it's going to be sooner rather than later. And when it does happen, either you're going to kill her or you're going to join her. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. Or she might kill you. But you're a formidable... The figure kind of seems to look Hector up and down. You're a formidable collection. I don't think she's paid close enough attention. But if her blood goes into this pot, well, that'll signal to me that you'd like a second meeting. I would recommend a second meeting because these mountains, this snow, this barren wasteland this isn't just the domain of the bear. Let's put it that way. Not anymore. And it sure as 9 hells isn't going to be the domain of the red flame as long as I have anything to say about it. So let's just let the lines speak between themselves, shall we? I like a good little riddle. I like a little mystery. You're a wild card. That's what you are. Like a wild card.
Well, I will take it under advisement.
Of course you will.
I'll talk with my fellow party members.
You know what? I'm going to sweeten.
Why don't we ask them now? And he turns to Valenti and Lotto and Luna and says, come on, come out. Tell me what you think.
Oh, at this point, you see Luna and Lotto very cautiously emerge from the shadows and start to walk that way. Valenti, you see them walk by you. They don't seem to know where you are.
Yeah, I moved.
As Luna...
I moved positions. Yeah, she's not going to come out. She's just going to wait.
No.
Okay.
She has better advantage in here just in case something happens.
So you see them kind of emerge from the trees, and Luna just looks like a deer in the headlights, and Lotto just looks very cautiously at this figure. And they don't say anything. They just kind of emerge. And they look around. It seems like they're looking for Valenti, but they don't see her.
Valenti will step out after that. She's like thinking in her head.
factions.
And then she'll step out.
Ah, it's the elf. I knew there was one somewhere around here. But where is your Dragonborn? Where is he? He's the real gold. No pun intended.
Apparently, they might have been back home.
Ah, how unfortunate. Oh well, doesn't matter. So, it kind of looks at the rest of you, like it looks at you, Valentine, and says, is there anything you wish to say? As an elf, you might have a different perspective than the human here.
Says, what is your objective here?
My objective? My objective is to see that the thin lines separating our world from the others is not permanently damaged. I like souls to stay where they're supposed to be.
You meaning how we were brought here?
How you were brought here looks like an abominable disruption of space and time. And if you have any information about who's responsible, you'd win a lot of points with me if you pointed me in the right direction. But I'll be honest, I don't think your friend here knows. And then I would guess you don't know either.
She says, no, unfortunately not.
I don't suppose you can just go back where you came from, huh?
That would be very lovely if we could.
I assume hiding in the weeds over there, you heard what we talked about. The pot, the blood. If you end up draining that little phase blood, drip a few drops into there if you'd like to speak again. I would highly recommend it. Like I said to him, the bear doesn't rule here anymore. Not like he used to. Things are
What is your
changing.
involvement in all this? What do you wish to seek out of this?
I wish to make sure that the lines aren't disturbed.
The lines where souls
Yes.
should stay. What lines are those exactly?
The lines that keep souls where they're supposed to be. Strong, capable lines that keep the dead, and the living. And those who are not supposed to be in this place, out of it. Doesn't seem like too much to ask. The bear seems to disagree. He and I have beef. But that's okay. It doesn't concern you. You smell like him. Doesn't mean you worship him or anything extreme like that.
Jesus, we simply wish to go home. We have no stake in these factions here.
Indeed. Politics are boring.
Well,
Politics are dangerous.
nah. The figure's going to point at Valenti. That's the spirit. They are dangerous here. They should be dangerous because I'm very interested in them and I'm very dangerous. All right. You have my proposal. Drip the blood into the little pot and you'll get your second meeting. And I would highly recommend that you do so. But in the meantime, I'm trying to decide if I should give you a little edge. She's really meddling in my affairs. I think I'm going to give you a little edge. I think I am. The creature is going to step forward and reach out to you, Hector. It's going to reach out a skeletal hand, and it's going to hold what looks like a glowing purple orb in its hand, and it's going to offer it to you.
Does Hector recognize the orb?
No, this looks very foreign. Hector has never really seen anything like this before.
Maybe. Hector pops his hand into one of his pockets and pulls out the deer fur piece that he had for the other eyeball, and he's got that on his palm, face up, waiting to accept it.
The figure hands it to you. Now, when you receive it, you kind of become aware, and it seems this is different. This is like sometimes magic items will impart what they do to you when you touch them kind of telepathically, but this is different. This is like much bigger. You become aware of this even though it's a little bit insulated. Seems to make itself aware in a much more powerful way. And this is basically an ability that would let you prepare 2 spells that are 2 spell slots above your maximum right now. So in other words, what's your maximum spell slot right now?
2.
So the next time you prepare spells, you could choose to prepare up to 2 level 4 spells and replace lower level spells with them. Or whatever level you are, it would just be 2 levels beyond, basically.
Yeah. Ooh, that sounds very useful.
And then the thing will say, that should be an interesting thing to watch if you choose to use it against her. If you choose to use it against her, we may just be more friends than I'm giving us credit for right now. There's a part of me that thinks she'll join her, especially the elf over there. These fae like to stick together. Real annoying bunch. They're like squirrels and rats. You know, they just stick together and they don't go away. Am I right?
Yeah. Probably. I don't, like I said, I come from the shadow plane. Elves are quite rare, and the ones that are there are shadow elves. They're very different.
And then the figure turns around and starts to walk away. And then you see this like black and purple portal open in front of it. And it starts to walk through it, and it turns around and it says, once again, I don't know a damn thing you're talking about. And then it steps through the
regardless,
portal.
Hector calls out after him, I think we could be friends. We seem to have a similar job.
You
And
hear
then
like
you turn
some chuckling, and then the portal closes.
Hector turns to the group and says, well, what do you think? Shall I pick up this pot? Shall we fill it with fey blood and bring the soul shepherd back?
Valenci will look at it and says,
If you want to align with the factions here, then be my guest.
We shouldn't discount any opportunity to learn more, though. So we'll keep that door open.
she'll nod. And then she'll head back. Try to go and finish. How far was it into her trance?
Oh, this was about an hour in.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna try to finish her trance.
Now, as we approach 9 o'clock coming up, we have about an hour and 10 minutes left. Just for the chat to know, we appreciate you watching. You can join our Discord. Links in the description if you want to be awesome like us, play awesome games like us. And if you want the players to get a magic item this session, you should just become a Ko-Fi member. Links in the description. I have a thing going right now where if I get one Ko-Fi sign up for the end of the session, the players will all get a magic item. Shabam. All right, let's continue.
I want a magic item. A nice
I want to give you a magic item. All right. So what are you guys going to do now?
Well, Valenci is definitely needing her rest because she's completely out of stuff of resources. So she needs to, she's going to go back into her trance. When
she goes into her trance, Luna's going to kind of walk up to her, and Luna's going to try to curl up beside her and kind of try to put her arms around her when she goes to sleep. Is Valenci going to let her do this?
Valenci will like really tense up, and she will look down, and it's like completely frozen at being touched. And
What are you doing?
You'll see Luna kind of with her eyes closed, and without really skipping a beat, she'll say, "I'm trying to sleep. I sleep better with somebody." And then you'll feel her arms kind of tighten around Valenti.
Valenti's. Is Hector anywhere around?
I don't know. Hector was making the rounds. Hector, would you be anywhere near at this point?
I probably would have come back with the group.
Okay, yeah, then you'd be there, and you would, if you see this happening, this looks familiar to you. This is what she did when you and her went to sleep.
Valenti will give her a glare at first, and then look up at Hector and say,
She wishes to sleep.
very tense expression, her body very frozen.
You hear Lotto just humph disapprovingly off in the distance as he goes to sleep in his own little corner.
Come on, Luna. You can come with me and we'll walk around a bit. We'll let Valenti get her rest.
Okay, yeah, I'll come help you. She gets up. She kind of rubs the sleep out of her eyes and she follows Hector.
Miss Valenti just finally relaxes and just breathes, closes her eyes.
All right. Now at this point, it seems like Hector will have the next watch, and then Valenti takes the final watch. Does that sound like the plan?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right.
Yep.
So let's make a roll here. See if anything crazy happens.
Oh no.
All right. So about what you guys would predict at this point, as you know, about an hour before dawn. We're going to skip ahead unless anyone wants to do anything. Hector, during your watch, do you want to do anything special or significant, or are you just going to get your watch done and then go back to sleep?
Yeah, pretty much get my watch done and get back to sleep.
Okay.
He'll keep quiet like he does with Lotto, mainly because he's trying to work out everything that's going on in his head.
Gotcha.
And trying to put all the pieces together.
When he goes to sleep, is he going to let Luna curl up to him and cuddle with him?
He'll probably go to Lotto first, just because he's developed that relationship there.
Okay. If he goes up to Lotto first, Luna would kind of scoot over to the opposite side of Hector and try to cuddle with him. So with Lotto on one side, Luna on the other. Would Hector let this happen?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, it would
warm night.
It would be yeah. So you have like Lotto, who's just like radiating heat like the sun, and then you have Luna, who is trying to basically seeming to climb into Hector's skin while she's sleeping. But then sleep would come. And that would leave Valenti up to watch. Now, Valenti, about an hour before sunrise, by your estimation, you hear something. There seems to be noise coming from the north.
An hour.
Now, this is an hour before everyone will have their full rest. If you wake them up, they will miss their full rest. You hear what sounds like a few branches breaking a little bit to the north, maybe 50 feet away.
50 feet away?
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I take that back. 100 feet. It'd be about 100 feet away.
100 feet?
Yeah.
Sneaky little devils.
And then you hear what sounds like the snow crunch a bit, and then you hear another branch break. Sounds like it's getting closer, a little closer. Right up in this area up here.
Right. Dang it. All right. Well, then.
Whatever it is, it does not sound very stealthy.
I will quickly rush over. Is the fire on?
The fire has pretty much died down to the bare minimum. It is still going, but it's not going very
I will
strong.
cover
Unless
it
you would have kept it stocked up.
Yeah, I'll cover it with snow as much as I can.
Okay, so you can put it out pretty much instantly.
And then I will rush over to Hector and be like,
Hector,
Snore.
just like tries to shove him.
Oh, what? What now? Why? What's going on? I want to sleep.
if you wish to die, then keep sleeping. I do not know what is approaching.
There's something approaching. And he'll try and make his way out of the meat sandwich that he's in.
Well, she
Stand
warned
up.
him she's going to rush and run toward that direction, trying to stealth.
Oh, roll a stealth check. So Hector, you're awake. The other two are still sleeping. Valenti goes taken off into the darkness. It's not dawn yet.
24.
So, Valenti, your character gets over there. And then emerging from the woods, suddenly you see a figure in a mask.
Oh.
You see Kerrigan emerge from the woods. She has her mask on. Her hawk is on her shoulder, but her hawk is picking at her hair and picking at her mask. Like it's barely even paying attention to you. And when she sees you, she kind of stops and then she falls down onto her knees and she falls down face first into the snow and seems to go unconscious. And in her, on her back, you see these large slashing wounds and there's blood everywhere.
Valency's going to rush over there and medicine check.
Yeah, go ahead and roll medicine.
And
Hector, you see this going on.
That's an 11. Shoot. All right. Let's see here. Can I tell anything with that roll? I mean, she's
You see that there are big slashes, but you do not see maybe they were made with a blade, maybe with some kind of large natural weapon, but they're big and very bad. And you see a big stab wound right in the middle of her back. It looks like maybe a dagger, maybe a spear. There's no arrow stuck in it. So it wasn't an arrow, but it's big. It's bigger than an arrow would have made.
well, can't let that happen. So she's going to go ahead and cast Cure Wounds.
Oh, okay. Roll for the cure wounds. Uh-oh. Someone in the chat said they joined the Ko-Fi.
Woohoo! Even better.
Yes.
Heck
Ever
yeah.
better.
Ever better.
Yeah.
I could use magic now.
Yes. Good. Heck yeah. We have a new member. Ever better. Thank you for joining.
Yes. I healed her for 17.
17. She lifts her head up and kind of looks up at you. And then, you kind of see her eyes through her mask. And she kind of lifts up a hand to your hand and grabs it.
And I say, Kerrigan, what happened?
She's going to say, scorpions. Scorpions got me. She seems to be kind of weak still, but you have saved her from being like she's not unconscious anymore, and you saw her wounds kind of close up a bit.
And she will wrap her arms around. She'll wrap her arms around her and try to lift her and start walking toward the camp.
Are they heading this way? Did you lose them? Are they coming? Are we in danger?
No, I lost him. You see her hawk is frantically like picking at her hair. She still has her mask on, so you haven't seen like what her face looks like, but her hawk is like picking at her mask, like in a frantic affair. The hawk isn't even like looking at you or paying attention to you, which is very strange.
Valancy casts Speak with Animals.
What's she gonna say when she casts it?
She says, "What is wrong?"
The hawk is gonna say, "Face, hurt, blood. Kerrigan, hurt. Kerrigan needs help.
And,
Too much blood. Hurt, upset."
Valancy says,
Do you need more?
and as she's helping her over to the campsite.
Are you guys gonna go to where the fire was?
Yeah.
All right, I'll move her thing. Hector, you see Valenthi helping this, and you've seen this orc before. You know, you've seen her. This is the same one you guys met on the pass.
What's happening here?
She just looks up at you, and
Are you able to heal her?
No. He has no healing spells.
she's going to use her last spell to heal her one more time.
How much would she heal her for this one?
They're going to find out right now. Oh my god. She rolled low on that one. 7 more.
So as you heal her, she kind of like sits up a little bit more. She seems to really feel that one. And she's like, she kind of moans. Her hawk is just on her shoulder, freaking out. She kind of picks her hawk up and sets it down on her knees. And she kind of sits up into a sitting position. And then she would say, and of course, now she's talking to Valenthian Giant, right? Because the two of them found they both speak Giant. And she's going to say, "I'm sorry." And then she like takes off her mask, and you see that her face is like she has like a big cut across her cheek. You also see that her mask, you didn't realize this before, but her mask kind of has a big like dent in it. Where something hit her in the face. But then you also see that her eye on the opposite side is all big and swollen and like black and like bloodshot, like she got hit in the eye really hard. She's going to say, "I didn't know where else to go." She kind of like holds her head, kind of like her head hurts.
Valancy will be like,
What happened?
"I told my brother about you."
He did this to you?
"Well, he did this." She points at the eye. She's like, "But then we were in the middle of a fight, and then they attacked the frost giants and the scorpions."
Valancy's like,
Your brother, is he alive?
She says, "I don't know. A scorpion grabbed me and dragged me off. It stung me. I couldn't move for like, I don't know how long it was. But the giants and the scorpions attacked at the same time. They were coordinated." And you kind of see tears coming down her eyes. And she's like, "When I finally woke up, I was being dragged through the snow. I managed to get free. I didn't dare run back. And then she just like lowers her head in her hands. And she's like, "My brother is definitely dead. There's no way he survived that. The only reason I did was because I got drug off."
Valancy will
So I followed your trail because you're the only other people I know. There's nobody
Sure.
else.
wrap a hand around her
I'm sorry.
and
I understand what it is to lose people. I wouldn't curse anyone with that pain.
and she'll just kind of wrap her hands and just hold her, letting her kind of release her.
She just like starts to sob, and her face just gets buried in Valenti's shoulder, basically.
Valancy's more comfortable with her, and she pretty much just covers, pretty much just kneading her head as she's crying. And then she'll look over at the group, not really sure what to do in these situations because she's usually more about she's more about survival and tactical. This is the first time she's been faced with this situation where she might actually. Kerrigan went to her, gave her information without expecting anything back, so she's the first person she actually kind of saw different. So she's looking toward the group.
Says, I have to do something here.
And that's all she'll say.
Hector, you look like you're about to say something. Go for it.
Yeah, he'll come up and pick up the mask and a handful of snow, and he'll shove the snow into the orc's eye, and say, "Just hold your snow here. This should take the swelling down."
As
And then
Hector
he'll
starts to
start
do that,
casting mending on the mask.
oh, okay. As Hector starts to do that, he sees the hawk like look at him. Like you see its eyes just like look at you protectively. But as Hector starts to pack the snow into eyes, he notices that the hawk kind of bounces away from him and then kind of looks at what he's doing, almost like a protective companion that is like realizing it has no choice but to let you help, kind of thing. The hawk looks very anxious. It looks extremely upset. But anyway.
Yeah, so that's about all Hector can do at the moment.
Valancy will tell the hawk,
She'll be all right. She's with us right now. I'll do my best to help her. Don't worry.
The hawk would kind of hop up to her again and kind of start pecking at her eye a little bit. Like it seems like it's trying to help. And then it would kind of look up at Valenti and it would kind of squawk. But Valenti hears to say, "Thank you."
I did all I can. I might need more rest before I can help her again. But I dissipated all my powers. Hopefully it's enough.
So now there's a big choice of whether you guys. So if you go to bed like pretty much right now, you could still get your 1 hour more of rest and get your full rest, or you could remain awake now, but it would cost you your full rest in the day to come.
Hector needs his rest.
All right.
Valancy will look. Didn't Lotto was still out of pace as far as his rest?
He was, so he took first watch, so he needs to sleep for 1 more hour to get his full rest too.
And also Luna, because
Yeah.
she would have been asleep and then.
Well, she stayed up with Hector for his rest
Okay.
or for his watch, so she also needs to sleep till the daytime.
Valancy will try to keep with Kerrigan while everybody rests and keep watch.
When Valenti would basically go to meditate, Kerrigan would kind of like lay down and curl into a ball and just be like kind of crying, and the hawk would like basically stand right on her head almost and just kind of like kind of keep rubbing its head against hers, just looking really upset and freaked out. And she would eventually drift off into like a sleep.
Yeah, Valancy will try to comfort her as much as she can while she was. And then once she does that, Valancy will. She can go into a trance and still remain aware, so she's going to try to do that because now she needs to gather much of her stuff again.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are going to get your full rest in.
Yeah. If they wake up before Valancy, she'll notice that, but she's going to try to go into her full trance for the next 3 hours, depending what they do, so she can rest up her spells again. And then,
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, we're doing
Now-
that. I'll be right back. I'm going to do a quick bio break. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Totally. We'll take a tiny little intermission here, real quick, for like 5 minutes, while I've got to actually prepare a little something here.
Oh. Thank you, Ever Better.
Yeah. Thank you.
I might do the same. Go for a quick break.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Everyone watching, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. We have a little break to take, and then we're going to finish up. We have about 45 more minutes before the session is done.
All right. Been drinking a lot of tea, trying to keep a gout flare up from coming in.
Uh-oh. Keep that hydration going.
Yeah. Been an interesting couple of weeks. I drank a little bit too much than I was supposed to.
Oh, sometimes it be that way.
Let's see here. And we made it up to 14 viewers tonight.
Heck,
Now we're down to what, 11?
11 right now, but I think that's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy about it.
I was wondering how 2 of us was going to do.
How do you like it so far? The 2 players. It's been kind of a different type of session, but have you enjoyed it?
Oh yeah. Definitely a lot more role playing. Definitely for both me and in character for Valanthi. Having to figure out things with the group now.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, she usually relied on Soul for everything else, interactions with the group. Now she's like definitely having to interact with the group a little bit more intimately than she expected to.
So at this point, you guys would sleep. You would finish your long rest. And as the sun begins to break over the horizon, a wind starts to pick up. And snow starts to kind of swirl. And you realize, like, the clouds start to kind of roll in. And you all realize that there seems to be foul weather brewing this day. You look up into the sky and you see large swells of clouds. They seem to indicate perhaps a big storm cell moving in. And this early wind whipping and ripping through seems to only indicate that the wind will grow stronger as those clouds move overhead. So there for a moment there's a daybreak of sunlight, but then that day is obscured by a dull grayness and a new, fresh, biting cold that sets in. What would you guys like?
Delancey will see if Kerrigan is up.
Kerrigan will wake up. She wakes up looking kind of stiff, and then she would kind of sit up. She would kind of hold her head. She does look better. Definitely looks better than she did.
It seems that the storm is coming in.
Kerrigan looks up. It's going to be a big storm. Great frost. Tonight, you will not want to camp in the open like this. Not with a storm like this. You may find yourselves frozen before dawn.
Indeed. Which is the closest way to somewhere safe.
Would Hector understand that one? If she's talking giant?
No, she's talking giant right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So Hector, only if you speak giant would you understand that.
No.
Okay.
So Valenti would ask,
Do you know these lands? Would you recommend somewhere?
She kind of looks around. You guys both detect a moment of heaviness settling upon her. Where are you heading?
I will be truthful. I was going to head to the orcs, but I had to think about the group.
Damn it. She turns around and like paces away. She's like, you weren't coming to help.
and she like looks over and she's like,
I wanted to give them the choice to go, but I wanted to return. But I cannot return with the group.
Hector, you hear this going on in Giant, and it looks like this girl's, upset and at this point almost arguing with Valenti is what it looks like.
but yeah, Valenti would walk up and says,
You came and helped me. I intended to help, but I'm not sure what the group wants. And frankly, they want my responsibility. I would not wish to put them in harm's way unless it's their decision.
Roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Let's see.
Hector, or not Hector, Lotto will nudge you, Hector, and say, what is she talking about? What is this?
No idea. I'm talking
looks-
in I don't
looks
know,
mad.
gibberish.
They're talking about gibberish.
"Oh my god, jeez."
So she's going to kind of look at you and she's going to say, listen, I know it's not your problem. They're not your people. I just thought, what about now? Would you be willing to go back now? Now we have reinforcements. We could go back. We could go back and see if there's any left. We could reclaim the village.
And she'll look over at her and say,
I am willing to help the village. But
she looks over at the group.
in their worlds, even my world, orcs were dangerous. They attacked
And she'll say,
my parents when I was very little. They were killed by orcs, humans and giants. They attacked my farm that my family raised me on. All I had were my parents, and they were murdered. I saw my mother as a giant bit into her, ripping her head from her body. I saw my father as he was clubbed to death by orcs, and humans looting everything while I was a coward when my mother told me to hide. Orcs did this, but I can tell that there's differences. Just because there is a group of people doesn't mean the individuals aren't different. I understand this.
This
What will
this
they?
girl's gonna walk up to Valenti and she's gonna reach out with her gloved hands and she's gonna kind of try to take Valenti's face in her hands in a gentle way. Would Valenti let her do this?
She would tense up a little bit, but knowing Kerrigan, so far she's trusted her, so she would.
So then she would say, listen to me. And she would look into Kerrigan's eyes with this kind of like, this look of sadness, this look of like softness, and this like pleading look. And she would say, we are in the barren wilderness. There's nobody to save any of us. My people might be dead. All of them. The husbands, the wives, the little children, the grandparents, and the frost giants and the scorpions did it together. That means that the factions we thought were at war have made an alliance. This means the other villages are in very, very dangerous situation. If we do not go, hundreds, maybe thousands more will be massacred before they understand the danger. I should have gone north. I came south because I knew that there was a chance I could get help from you because you are the only other ones I've met. Please, please.
Valenti
Says, we're not very meany.
But you're more than me.
Your entire village. We're not even a village. How
I
would
know.
we stand against them?
And then she would try to be looking at Valenti in the eyes and she would say, but you could do so much more than I could do by
Valenti.
myself. I know it's not fair to ask you. I know it's not, but if there's anything inside of you that wants to help this place, if there's anything inside of you that cares about North Skull, all I would ask is that you please come with me. Don't go south. Don't go to the elves. They don't need your help. They're a whole nother enemy just waiting to invade. They're just a year behind.
Valenti will look at the group.
I'm not sure I can convince the group. They don't see elves. I mean, they don't see orcs. That's a race that they would trust. I can speak to them, but I can't give you a guarantee.
Okay, are you saying you'll try?
Valenti's like,
I'm torn between helping two groups now. I told them I would guide them to the fort, and then I would return to yours. If they choose not to go, I don't think they will survive. Alone. Is that a guide? So I'll try.
Suddenly she just collapses into Valenti, wrapping her arms around her, just like hugging her tightly. Valenti can feel her trembling, and she hears a, thank you. That's all I ask.
Well, Lotto, looks like they fixed something up.
Lotto's like, yeah, she's not angry anymore, but why?
No idea.
That's still
Valenti, Valenci's eyes just go wide at the hug at first, and she's like stressed out, and she will kind of hug her back and kind of pull her away, but she'll say,
I will try. But remember, there's no guarantee.
and then she will nod at her, and she'll walk to the group. And she'll look over at Luna. And then she'll look over at Hector. And say,
How much dealings have you had with orcs?
Me, personally, not much. They live underground. They live in the caves. I don't go into those caves.
Lotto's going to say, I have some. I mean, you can trust them most of the time if you're in a law-abiding part of the world. Why?
And she'll look over at Luna.
Luna's eyes are wide. She's like, do not help them. They are savages. She's like, do you know what they did to me? When they found out I wasn't one of them, they cast me out. They shot arrows at me. They tried to kill me. No. Screw them. They're not good.
She looks over at Luna and says,
These orcs here in this world did this to you?
Yes. White-skinned, abominable monsters. She just shouts it as she points at the girl. And then the girl, you see Kerrigan kind of look at her confused. And then she's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. And she takes a couple steps forward angrily. I'm talking to you. She's just yelling at her voice echoing through the clearing.
Valancy will step between them and says to Kerrigan,
This one is angry. She said that she was cast out from the orc village. Run off when they found out she wasn't one of the orcs.
Kerrigan looks confused and she would say, what? I've never seen her before, other than with you.
Valancy will look over at Luna and say,
She says she's never seen you before other than with me.
You see Luna's eyes narrow at her and she's like, oh, she's seen me. And then you see her shape shift. And you see her skin kind of starts to peel out. You see she starts to change forms. It's almost like her skin starts to turn inside out, scale by scale. And she replaces her visage as an SMR female with a visage of what looks like a white-skinned orc female. With kind of short whitish hair. Not so, she looks like the same species that Kerrigan is. And then you hear her speak in orc. And she says, "Nak nak kadak na," and she speaks to Kerrigan. And then you see Kerrigan's eyes go wide, and you see her draw her knife and charge at Luna. Is anyone gonna get in the way?
Valancy will step. She'll step in between and try to catch Kerrigan, and she'll say, "Stop! What is going on here?"
When she steps in the way, Kerrigan would slam into Valancy, and that would stop her charge. And then she would start shouting in orc. Just violently shouting in orc. And then Luna starts to shout back in orc. And you see Luna come up here almost shouting over Valancy's shoulder at her. And the two of them just start, yelling at each other.
Hector looks at them yelling and goes, enough! Calm down.
Oh, roll a...
Calm emotions.
Oh, calm emotions. Okay. Does that have a save?
Charisma 14.
Charisma 14. Okay.
Unless people are immune to charmed and frightened.
Okay, gotcha. So you notice that Luna suddenly gets really calm and kind of takes a step back. And Kerrigan, she doesn't really seem to calm down, actually. She keeps yelling. But Valanthi, you have her, and she doesn't seem to be trying to get around you, really. But then suddenly she speaks in Giant, and she says, "You have a murderer in your midst. You have a," and then she says this orc word that you're not quite sure what it means, but you think she says it because she doesn't know the word in Giant for it. She says, "You have a in your midst. You keep company with these beasts."
And she looks over at you.
I don't understand what that is.
Eat the flesh of their own. Drain the blood of their own. They drink from the dead.
And she looks over at Luna and she says,
Do you eat the flesh of your own
Luna
dead?
kind of backed away. Luna's like, that's not entirely a true way to describe it. You know that my magic involves use of blood. Look, I didn't kill any orcs, but when I took the blood when I had the chance.
And she says, you didn't kill orcs, but you took the blood when you had a chance.
Yeah.
You said that you're not from this world. How did you come abide by these orcs again?
I just saw them. I told Hector the whole story.
You saw them and then you shifted yourself into one of them?
Yes, I was trying to blend in. I didn't want to be alone.
And she says, and then you called them and attacked them when you blended it into their own.
No, I didn't attack them. They had one who died, and I did sneak into the tent and I took some of his blood. It was for a spell. I wasn't trying to do any harm.
You're not trying to do harm, but that can be disrespectful for some. I understand how villages see their dead. How disrespectful that can be.
Look, I apologize. I'm really sorry, but they could have taken a minute and just listened to me. I could have helped them, but instead they chased me out. They were going to kill me. She backs away.
Because they didn't understand you.
She's like,
how can anyone have any understanding when you just rush in? I understand that you needed help, but there's also some sort of awareness. Villages, groups of people can be dangerous. If they don't know what you are, fear can take hold. I understand this. Look, we've all have our pasts. Do you think I care for my own kind? If you knew what they did to me, you would know how angry I was and why I hid for 70 years from people. And now it's coming back. It's all true. There's these politics. We're fighting at each other when we're trying to survive. We're not going to have that. Either we all die here now, or we decide to try to understand different perspectives. I'm willing to help everybody that I can, and I've already wasted enough energy trying not to leave this group. I'm willing to help this group, but I'm not going to help it out of selfish or angry reasons. I will do what is right, but everybody must understand there are differences. And if we wish to survive, we will have to understand this land. You can attack her, you can hate them, but if we do not make allies now, then unfortunately, if we do remain here, Kerrigan has been the only person that didn't come at me with anger or judgment when I was away from groups. She gave information willingly. Do you think somebody that would just be a murderer would do that?
And then she will turn to Kerrigan and she'll say, in giant, I guess,
As I understand that you don't see her. You see her as a monster. You have to understand that I was also something like that before. When I was cast out from villages, people would tie me up. They would throw stones, lower the temperature, freeze me, tie thorn vines. They were the elves. Elves that were different from the others around my land and continent. But you seem to need help. She needed help. She didn't understand what she was doing. She didn't murder anyone. She simply made a mistake, and they cast her out. I was cast out constantly from villages. If we're going to work together, and if you want that trust and help for your village, for them to survive as well, as I already mentioned to them, we need to look beyond each other's hates right now. We need to look beyond our biases for each other and come together. Otherwise, this is for nothing, and we all die alone.
So, William, you get an inspiration for the roleplay. So, At this point, Luna looks seriously like she just kind of takes a step back, and she just like sighs and drops her head. Lotto gives Hector a look. Hector, Lotto gives you a very unmistakable "should I reunite her with the ground" look about Luna.
He's not sure at this stage. Only getting half the conversation, obviously. He sort of he looks to Valenti and says, "What's the other half of this story?"
Without RPing at all, she's going to explain everything.
Okay, so she's
Yeah.
gonna fill
Yeah,
Hector
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
very good, very good. So Hector,
Lovely.
you get filled in. The wind is whipping around. The cold is biting at all of you. You feel the temperature dropping by the half hour, basically.
Well, with this weather dropping, this temperature is going to get really cold. It's cold enough as it is. I don't think we can survive out here. You, and he points to the orc girl.
She like looks at you.
Valenti, you ask that girl over there. Where is the closest safe place for us from this storm?
I don't know if I asked her or not. But you will ask Kagan. She says,
For now, let us calm down. We need someplace safe to stay. And I will see what this group will do. And at least if you give some sort of help, maybe they will help in return. We need something to unite this group currently.
She's gonna say, "There's a cave south of here, maybe 10 miles. That's the closest safe dwelling that I know of. If we go north, there would be a place about 20 miles."
and Valenci will tell Hector,
10 miles south is the best that we're going to do.
Well, let's get going then. This weather's not going to wait for us.
I'm certainly not going to wait for you. So move as quickly as possible.
and then
Yes.
Now then you guys hear a noise. You hear like a voice come from kind of north of you, and you hear it say, you kind of hear it mimic, "as quickly as possible." And then you see a figure, seemingly having appeared out of nowhere, standing in the snow. You see her bare feet, white, ice white with blue toenails, standing atop the snow. Small snowflake-like patterns magically appearing on the snow around her, literally as you look at her, as the top of the snow freezes.
Valenci will quickly ask Kerrigan,
Who is that?
Kerrigan would she gasps and like steps back, and then she like draws her knife. Well, she already had her knife drawn, but she picks it up and holds it, and then she says, "It's her. It's her."
she's like, Valenci will grip her bow harder, but she will stand in front of Kerrigan.
And she says, the one from the west.
This girl's gonna kind of pace, and she's gonna speak in common, and she's like, "What do you prefer, the common tongue?" And then she speaks in Elven. And then she's gonna be like, "The Elven tongue." And then she's gonna speak in another language. Do any of you speak Sylvan?
Valenci does.
She's gonna speak in Sylvan. "Do you prefer the language of my folk?" And then she's gonna speak in Giant. She's gonna be like, "Or perhaps you prefer this brogue nonsense you've been speaking."
And Valenci will just calmly say,
Just speak the language that everybody understands. Common, at least.
She's gonna kind of stop. Now you see this figure. I mean, she has like this crazy kind of look on her face. Ice white skin, long white hair. Snow seems to kind of obscure her. It almost like once you notice her, you realize that it started snowing. You see she's standing atop the snow. She has these blue fingernails with ice white hands. She's wearing what seems like a simple dress that kind of flows into wind and frost. She has pointed ears that indicate she's some kind of like fey creature. But she does not look like a natural fey creature. There's a lot about her that's kind of strange. Her smile is strange. She has these large fangs in her mouth, and she has a strange aura about her. You almost notice an orange glowing around her. She says, I'm not here to fight. I'm here to talk. The first, last, and only time. You've probably heard of me. They call me the woman in the West. This is my domain. And I don't know where you come from. But I'm here to find out whose side you're on.
More talk about sides. Why do people think we just got here? I don't get this.
I believe you.
Vira, why are you here?
Oh, I see you've been talking to others. She kind of steps toward the shade. Let me guess. The Great Bear. Or was it Skadir? That old fool, all he cares about is keeping the dead and living from mingling together. No vision. Very short-sighted.
No, but that's a good way to keep everything in order.
She's going to take
The
another
living
step.
and the dead should be separated. If you keep moving, we will separate you.
She's like, oh, like I'm afraid of you. Not that I shouldn't be entirely. You're actually relatively formidable and knowledgeable. I've been keeping a little eye on you as much as I can. I'm just more curious than anything.
Valancio just look back at Hector and then look back at Kerrigan, looks back at her and says,
You came here to talk. What do you want to talk about? If you don't know where we came, but yet you claim that this is your domain, obviously you don't know very much about your domain. What is it that you want?
Let me explain it for you. There's a big wave sweeping from the west to the east. Half of Norskal has already been conquered. The wave came north from Velara. I don't know if you know where that is. It's a continent down in the Midlands. They call it the Southlands here because they don't know geography. But there's a wave sweeping across. It's just a change in leadership. It's like an earthquake. There's no stopping it. Who holds dominion over the north? Especially Norskal. That's all we're talking about. And I'm leading the charge. Has your little friend told you I managed to persuade the frost giants to join it? Well, I did. And with them on my side, there's really no one who's going to stop me. There's a hand.
Mind.
Oh, go ahead. What's that?
In Valanthe's mind, she hears Hector saying, "Don't trust the Fae. They will trick you."
Valancio just keeps staring at Faye.
So she's going to say, there are a handful of ragtag savage villages. They eat fish and they dress in rags. That's all that stands between me and complete domination of this wilderness. Yeah, there are a few natural critters, none that I can't bring to heal. But there's no organized resistance. It's just a natural change, and there's nothing wrong with it. We're going to erect a few temples. It's fine. There's no problem. Now, here's where you come in. She kind of takes a step closer to Valenthi. You are very fascinating because you came out of nowhere. You came out of the phenomenon. And I don't know where you come from. That makes you she kind of thinks for a minute, an uncalculated variable. And I love uncalculated variables when I have them on my side. So there are weapons. There is armor. She kind of starts walking around you. She says, there is power in numbers. She kind of starts walking around your fire. She's like, there are minions. There is strategic firepower to be had on my side. You want to become lords and ladies in this new land? You want to roll with the real power holders? Well, you're looking at her. I'm poised to become queen of the entire Northeast. And there's not a single thing anyone can do to stop me. You see, like, the others kind of looking at her. You see Lotto just like glaring at her. You see Kerrigan like looking at her, but you see that Kerrigan is holding her knife at her side, but you see something strange. You see her legs literally shaking as she like beholds this person.
Vilanthe will walk over to Kerrigan and say to the Fae, what is her name? Sorry.
She says, my name is Vyra.
Okay, so it's Vyra. Okay, so it's Vyra.
This is us. Byra. I don't care to take sides. I know the power that everybody seeks in every world seems to be the same. Dominion, conquering the land. Land that was given, and everyone wants to put borders around it to show how powerful and elegant they are. I don't wish for any of that. What I do wish to do is go home. However, I do not believe in malicious monstrosities like people that seek power believe in. Though I do not pick sides, I will always be on the side of what is right.
Right? Well, that's a narrow margin, isn't it? She kind of walks around to you, Hector, like looking at you. You're interesting.
Stay away from me.
She like walks away. She's gonna say,
Unless you can show us the way to return to our homes, I don't think you have anything to offer us.
what if I told you this? You're right. She kind of holds her hands out. She has this air of like sophistication about her. Like she's a little bit of a she's kind of a jerk, but she has this air of sophistication about her. Like her movements are relatively graceful. She kind of glides across the snow, but then from the neck up, she kind of looks a little bit insane. And then she's gonna say, how about this? I will be honest. I have to be honest. I don't know how you got here. I've been told it's called a phenomenon. I've been told it's an uncalculated, uncontrollable break in the system. With that being said, I do know someone who knows the most about it of anyone else in the world. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm putting my money on this fact. This is just a little thing I've cooked up on my own. She kind of peeks back around the tree. I think that my master serves the person who started it. So that's what I can offer you. All you got to do is bend the knee. Weapons, armor, minions, power, uncalculated variables, mine to launch into a deadly reign of terror that will take the North by storm and bring me and you glory. To resist is just death and pain and suffering. You'll never make it out of the Northland. But I don't want to think about that. Let's think about the positives. Think about how powerful you could become. Think about marching with an army south, being feared by everyone. Think about how no one will mess with you, ever.
Vilanthe will
Looking something up.
Vilanthe will just nod her head.
We had a certain situation in our world. when the orcs, and the humans, and when the giants combined their power to try to conquer the elven lands. I didn't pick sides back then because the elves were also cruel to me. But I did love my parents that were killed by the orcs and the giants and the humans. I never wanted to involve myself with any people. It seems that fate has somehow placed me in this situation. I don't know what that is. Perhaps the balance of the universe. But one thing I am sure of is I will not become the same people that I despise. I will never bend my knee. You can kill me. You can fight me. But I will never bend the knee to somebody like you.
And Melanthe will step forward, and she will just grip her bow and hold it to her.
I know you're probably pretty powerful. But I am a woman of my convictions.
And she holds the bow, pointing at her.
I have nothing more to say to you. This will be the last time you speak to me.
She's going to look over at you, Hector, and she says, does the elf speak for you too, human?
The elf does not speak for me. I speak for myself. And I say the same thing.
You guys see this look across her face. Make an insight check.
Oh, 10.
She looks a little amused to you.
20.
Oh, 20. So Valenthy, to you, you kind of get a look and you see this twinge of this flash of like rage mixed with anxiety cross her face. There's something about this that is really like worrying to her. There's some factor here that is causing her a great deal of anxiety. Valenthy thinks. Now at this point, you notice that Lotto has walked over here and he says, "They speak for me. If I were you, I'd be gone." And then he slams a fist into his palm. "Before I reunite your head with the rock." And then Luna kind of comes and stands behind Valenthy. And then this girl kind of takes a step back. She's like, okay, I understand. I take it we're not going to be friends then, huh?
Not with the Fae.
She's like, oh, is that what it is? It's my Fae lineage. She's like, what about? And then she holds up a hand, and you see this like red kind of embers, like fiery embers come up from her hand, and you see this symbol appear, like almost like a made of fire above her palm, and it seems to be some kind of sigil, and it looks like literally a red flame is what it looks like. She's like, what about that? And then as she's doing it, you see in the center of her forehead, this little symbol also becomes emblazoned on her forehead. And you see that the aura of orange around her turns into kind of a deep red. It seems to be very starkly contrasted with her Fae lineage. Like this seems to be very counter what she would be doing as like an Arctic Fae creature. And both of you should roll an Arcana check. She's like, does this strike any good sense into you? I think you understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, it's a 7.
No, this to you just seems strange. It's like, what is going on here? Does she have like fire magic? Is that what it is?
Oh, I'm rolling terribly. 13 total.
Hector, you get the whiff. There's draconic magic about her. You smell the smell of a dragon's maw about her.
Ah, this explains. So, you're not quite Fae, but you're not something else.
She's like, "Oh, I'm something else," and she takes a
Oh,
step
yeah.
backwards. She's
And
like,
that's why you're scared of our dragonborn.
"Roll both of you roll an insight check."
Hopefully, I'll get something else going here.
24.
Oh,
Oh, 8.
so Hector, to you, she just kind of looks a little like angry at your remark, but Valenti, you notice that when Hector says that, she nearly twitches and like displays a great deal of fear, and she's like, "Oh, I hardly noticed. Where is he, by the way?"
He's coming. He's off doing. He's off finding somewhere for us to weather the storm.
Has he given you permission to make this decision without him?
As a
And
group, we can make this decision.
She says, "Without your dragonborn?"
And Valancy says,
He would understand that you don't offer home. You offer a leash wrapped in honey. I'm sure, as I would rather burn with my forest than rot in your cage, he would choose the same, because it is wrong with you. And that much at least I know of him.
She's going to narrow her eyes at you guys. And then she's going to say, "I see. It's settled then." And then she's going to kind of twirl her hand, and then the massive, just wind and snow just whips through. And it's almost like for a moment there's so much snow that you lose sight of her. And then when the snow has dissipated, you see that she is gone.
Valancy thus turns to Kerrigan.
Let us go to the cave.
And then she'll just walk.
As you start to walk away, Kerrigan kind of shouts, "Wait!"
And she'll stop. And she looks over her shoulder at her.
She's going to kind of walk forward. She's going to look at you, Hector, and she's going to look at Valenti, like both of you. And she's going to kind of get down on one knee. And then she's going to take her mask and she's going to like lift it up. And she's going to say, "You have my face, my soul." And she's going to like put the mask on her face. And then she's going to look up at both of you and say, "You defied her. We are allies." And then she's just going to stand up. And then she's going to say, "I'm sorry to have doubted you."
Valancy just looks at her and says,
I may not know what is always the correct path, but I will always try to do what is right.
And at this point, you guys hear a whistling sound. Like, it almost like something's headed in your direction from the sky.
Valancy will say,
We must move.
Kerrigan's like, "Why?" And then suddenly Hector and Valenti both roll me a perception check real quick.
see.
A total of 7.
Oh, you kind of look around. You're like, "I don't know what's going on."
Oh my God. 9.
You'd
The
also
sky
don't
is
know.
falling. The sky is falling.
With the wind and the snow, but then suddenly you guys just become aware of this large mass seeming to come out of the clouds and the snow right here and slam into the ground. And you see this white bolt of lightning. You get a glimpse of like purple around the rock, like the rock is kind of glowing purple. It seems like a big rock, and then there's this lightning bolt that seems to hit the rock and it splits, and there's this ear-splitting crash, and all of you, like, I mean, there's this white flash and it knocks all of you backwards. And in fact, roll me a strength save, DC 14, to avoid being knocked down.
Oh, Hector
Would
would
that
have been knocked down.
For Valanthi, would she be able to roll for her dex or just strength, straight up strength?
You could roll for dex. Yeah, you could
Okay.
roll for dex.
Hector will definitely just fall down like the with the
Hector's
shot
gonna,
of the
yeah. Okay, so Hector would like,
Oh,
woof, just fall flat in the snow.
Yeah.
Snow flies everywhere. Oh, also Valenthi just, what was that? Her was a 7.
That was
real-
a 7. Yeah.
she just falls flat. And then, I mean, there's this ear splitting sound. And then you guys hear two things. You hear a roar. It sounds like a bear's roar echoing powerfully through this canyon. But then you also hear a laugh. You recognize it as very similar to the laugh of that dude that Hector was talking to earlier. Like, and then when the smoke clears, you see that there's kind of a crater there. And you see that there are 5 items laying in the crater. 3 of them are white, and 2 of them are dark purple in color, like glowing. You see that there is a scimitar. You see that there is a set of hide armor. You see that there's an amulet. The amulet is the scimitar is glowing white. The hide armor is glowing white. There's an amulet that's glowing purple. You see that there are boots glowing purple, and there's a ring that is glowing white.
Huh. Valanthi, can Valanthi detect anything as the bear?
Oh, she senses the bear's energy all over the white items. It's very familiar to her.
Valanthi
And
will.
Hector, you recognize the other person's energy in the purple items. And suddenly Kerrigan falls on her knees and she's like, the gods, you've chosen a side. They've sent you help. They believe you can help.
Valanthi will lift a brow at choosing sides, and she's like,
Yeah, I suppose the side of what is right, I suppose.
and then she will walk over to the. For sure, she's eyeing the scimitar.
Is she going to pick it up?
She will pick it up.
When she picks it up, its abilities are imbued to her. I'm going to send it to you over Discord via private message.
Oh, okay. And I don't know how many items everybody's getting, but
Well,
she was going to try to get the touch of that one, and then touch the. What'd you say? What kind of leather or what kind of armor?
hide armor.
Hide armor. So that would be like under like chainmail and stuff, right? It doesn't hinder. I don't think stealth checks.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. Let me
I
double
think it's
check.
light. Pretty sure it's light.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I think that's the same kind that Rangers would go for. So that's the only 2 I don't know how many items, but yeah, she would at least try to.
Is she gonna pick up the hide armor?
Yeah. If she feels the bear energy there.
Oh yes. So here's what the hide armor imparts to her when she picks it up.
So Hector would pick up the amulet and the boots just because they're purple. And he'd look at the boots and he'd look at his skeletal leg. And he'll go, big fella, do you want a pair of shoes?
Oh, I would perhaps take a pair of shoes.
And he would pass off the boots to Lotto.
Yeah, I like that. I assume these are not in the D&D Beyond?
No, they're not. Sorry,
Oh.
they're homebrewed.
Okay, I'll go ahead and add them.
Okay.
I'll code them in. That's pretty
So
cool.
Hector will put the amulet in one of his pockets.
Here, I'm sending you the amulet thing. One moment. I'm just typing it in here.
And he'd look at the ring and sort of see if he could get any feeling off it.
Yes, for sure. Okay, there's what the amulet does. I just sent it to you in private message. Now, the boots, you say you gave them to... Did you touch them or pick them up, or did you just offer them to...
I would have picked them up and like handed them to Lotto.
Gotcha. When you picked them up, then you would have seen what they did. They would have imparted to you. So I'll just send that to you, but they'll go to Lotto. And then the ring, here, let me send that to you real quick. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. And the ring, the ring was one of the few items you picked up that had the white energy on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Valenci would definitely try on the leather, and she's good with scimitars, so she would definitely like swinging around, get the feel of it, the balance of it.
Oh yeah. Now the hide armor, I'm actually not. Am I correct in remembering that there is technically no hide armor in the 5e book?
I never seen it before, but
It would basically be leather armor.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
when I say hide, I mean it looks like furs, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I can put it in.
But no, if she puts it on, it like magically forms perfectly to her body. You see that in the chest, there's a sigil of a bear. Hector, on the boots and on the amulet. The amulet actually has a. Let me see if it says what the. Did I say what the sigil was? Oh, tiny runes, but I didn't tell you what the runes were. The runes kind of make the shape of a skull face on the the amulet. Chad Bodine says hide is
Ooh.
medium armor in 5e.
Okay. So it is. Okay.
Let me double check here.
Cool.
Would Valenthi be more would medium or light armor work better for Valenthi?
I think. Let me see. As far as
Should be all right with medium as a ranger.
yeah, I think it would work okay with her too. Right.
It just depends on
I'm checking it out right here. I don't have my book right in front of me.
whether it limits the dex.
Oh yeah, hide armor is technically medium armor. It does limit dex.
Oh, it does?
So what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna rule that it's actually technically the equivalent of studded leather, which is light and is 12 plus dex modifier with no with no dex penalty. It doesn't restrict dex.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay.
Because when I made it hide, I was thinking of it being leather. I didn't actually double check to see that hide was a medium armor. It was supposed to be a light like leather armor.
I did think that hide would limit dex, but either way, I'll take studded.
Shabam. I think Chad was right. Thank you, Chad. You are correct.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Now, with that being said, we are going to close out the session with these new heroes putting on what seemed to be some kind of boons sent from the sky. Who sent them? Why? There are theories. Kerrigan has a theory. Her theory seemed to be that the gods rewarded you for choosing not to join Vyra. Is this the truth? Well, only time will tell.
Does that mean we hit a milestone too for a level?
You do hit a milestone, and you do level up after this session. So everyone should be, isn't that level 5 now? Am I right about that? Yeah, everyone should be level 5 at the next session, and we will continue from here. Thank you to everyone for hanging out, watching live stream. Huge thanks to our Ko-Fi supporters, especially Solstice and Craig, our partner and gold level supporters. Thank you very much to Ever Better for joining the Ko-Fi during the stream and being the one responsible for tipping the scales in these players' favor with the decision to make this finally the time they get some magic items.
That's the god's name. Ever Better.
And thank you players for joining me. Waz and William, it's a pleasure as always. And with that, we are going to end the stream. We will see you all next Tuesday.